What's good, everybody? It is Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. This is your daily sports betting brand of record. We like to call it the Early Edge. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not close. Now, here at this brand, we do everything different than everybody else. This is the beginning of our week. How did we end our week? Well, I don't do this often enough, I don't think. We had a phenomenal day. Yet again, day after day after day after day. And all kidding aside, 8-3 yesterday across the brand. But of course, you know you can get all these picks an hour before the show. But let me just say this. All kidding aside, day in, day out, 365. Haven't missed a day since December of 2020. And my entire crew never complains. They just get after it. They show up every single day. And for that, I am eternally grateful. And you should be too. Yes, this is a job, but damn it, do we love doing it so very much. So with all that being said, the beginning of our week, we are laser focused, and I've got the absolute very best at my disposal. But do not forget, later today, the early wedge, and we absolutely destroyed it last week at the PGA Championship, but the Charles Schwab Challenge. And how about this, Michael Block? Yes, you can actually put him in fantasy lineups this week. Amazing. We'll talk all about it today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And EC will be on the show today with the counselor and with myself. All right, let's bring in the stars of the show. You know them. You love them. And look who we have today. M Squared is here. The Sniper is here. Zack is here. And Mikey B is here. Now, Mikey B, you saw that incredible recap yesterday. However, you were one of the X's. Your thoughts?
I ruined the perfect evening for the Early Edge in 5. Bailey Ober walking the park in the first inning. I was putting my son to bed. I pulled it up on my phone. Disgusting, Coach. The weak link.
And when you're dealing with frickin' frack, you know that is saying something, correct?
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Thank goodness for Michael Porter Jr. It wasn't a complete flop, but I ruined it.
Hey, you said the juice was worth the squeeze, and you were absolutely correct. Now, gentlemen, let's jump right into it. Marquee matchups. And I saw a tweet the other day. The numbers are -1.5. Finally, the Miami Heat are favored in the game. They're up 3-0, by the way. Thank you, Sportsbooks. This has been easy money so far. 216.5. I don't know what the odds were, but I saw somebody bet $100 to win $72,000. Did you guys see this? $72,000 on both things to sweep, and you parlay them together. If you would have bet the Heat and the Nuggets to sweep, it was like something ridiculous, like crazy. But that's where we find ourselves tonight. Nuggets, tip of the cap. You took care of the Lakers last night. Tonight, can the Miami Heat do it? So, Mikey, we're going to start with you. M Squared. We have two Mikeys today. So, M Squared, let's start with you. Are we fading or are we following the Heat to wrap things up and cover the 1.5?
I'm going to lean towards a fade of the Miami Heat here. I like the Celtics side a little bit in this one. I'm more interested in the total personally. I like the under 216.5. I make the number 213 for this series. The answer for the Celtics to me is they've got to clean it up in terms of transition defense. Transition defense is one thing that you can fix at times because it's most correlated to effort. If you watch that last game, they were getting outrun by Zeller. Zeller was scoring in transition. That should never happen at any point in his career, but certainly not at this point in Zeller's career. So I do expect a little better effort there. I know it would be easy to let things go and, kind of enter the offseason from Miami here, but I like the Celtics to at least put up a strong effort here. Should translate into a little lower scoring game.
And I agree with that, too. Last night, by the way, depending on where you had the over, I bet it earlier in the day at 222, bought it down to 2, covered. Later in the day, it went up to 225, 226, and it didn't cover. That's how sharp sometimes these lines are. Mikey, thank you very much. Zack, let's come to you. Are you fading or following the Miami Heat tonight?
Well, I will have a play on the side, but as far as the total, I'm going to lean to the under, just like Mike said. I don't expect the Miami Heat to collectively, and that's how they're winning the series collectively. They've got so many players that are stepping up. I just don't see them being able to shoot that well a fourth straight time, 56% from the field, draining threes. You got to expect Boston to get some sort of balance because the role players have not played up the par in this series. They need to help Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown because defensively Miami is locked in on those two players. And as far as pace of play, we've seen it high for stretches, but you look at the end of the box score, Miami only shot 81 shots in game 3. So for me, the play here would be a lean on the total under 216.5.
Well, Zack, if we have tonight like what we had last night, it was 130 something in the first half, and they didn't even get to 225. in the second half. So we'll have to pay attention to that pace that Zach's talking about. All right, Sniper, let's come to you. Are you fading or following the Heat tonight, sir?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout to my Hoosier, my fellow Hoosier, Cody Zeller. Good job running the floor, apparently, the other night. I didn't watch, but hey, that boy Cody, way to do us proud. Look, I've heard a million times the phrase "the gentleman's sweep" in the NBA. I've always kind of thought it was a dumb term, but I'll tell you who's not a gentleman: Jimmy Buckets. He is no gentleman. He's going to take care of business tonight. I'm going with the Heat.
That's a very, very succinct take, and I think it's the right one. But you have other guys that disagree. That's why they play the game. Mikey B, you're our NBA aficionado. Are you fading or following the Heat tonight?
Yeah, I do not bet against Jimmy Butler. You're just asking for trouble. The guy is incredible. The Heat have a massive coaching advantage in this series. The Celtics, I can't believe for a team as talented as they are, they just completely quit in Game 3 when they got down big early. They were jacking up lazy three-pointers. There was no effort. This does not look like a team that can handle Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra. The Heat are the most prepared team. Jimmy Butler is in their heads. I think the Heat win this and sweep the series.
I'm glad you brought up Spoelstra because it is so
Unbelievable.
painfully obvious that it is a coaching mismatch. Al Horford is older than his head coach. He's older than his head coach. The guy just can't handle the pressure at this level. It's obvious. It is obvious. But do you know where else we discuss all this stuff right before the game? 24/7, early edge guys, talent all over the place. You know what I'm talking about. CBS Sports HQ.
Get breaking news,
Big news coming out of the NFL today.
highlights, and instant reaction.
The largest final round comeback in Ford championship history. We're down to the final four.
I just want to take time to analyze greatness.
Talk winners and losers with a guy who's already a big winner.
CBS Sports HQ. It's all sports all day long.
Josh in the chat says, we need a little AB for some college baseball and postseason baseball. Don't worry, we've got you. And also we have WNBA coming as well. Calvin Wetzel is going to come back to the early edge for another WNBA season. So be ready for that as well. All right, Sniper, we are in your wheelhouse, sir. It's time to play a little Pick the Prop. And you guys have gotten really, really good at this. Amazingly so. Oh, the bucket special. Jorge Soler, plus 225. Yordan Alvarez, plus 310. And then Peter Alonso. You're getting a good number for him, Sniper, tonight. Tell me why.
On Alonso, it's a good number because it's I don't know. He's facing a lefty. He's in Wrigley Field. It's a pretty good number. He's not the one I'm picking. I initially was going to go with Yordan Alvarez, and then he hit 2 bombs, including a grand slam last night. And maybe this is a mistake, but I just thought if he hit 2 last night, maybe a little evening out, and he won't hit a bomb tonight. So I ended up going with Jorge Soler here. 7 home runs in his last 17 games. Against lefties this year, he's absolutely worn them out. A 406 average with 7 home runs against left-handed pitching. He's facing Austin Gomber, and he's in Coors Field. So I'm going with Jorge Soler. But honestly, all 3 of these would be a very good pick.
I got the Rockies last night at minus 140 on the run line. I couldn't believe it. Miami was favored that much last night. Easy cash. All right, M Squared, I'm coming to you, big boy. Pick your prop.
I'm going to go to Alvarez first, then Soler. Alonso's a relatively distant third, only because of the weather conditions today. It doesn't seem like a massive weather boost, but it is negative 25% home run hitting at Wrigley today. So that's why you see a number like this on Alonso. But I'll take Alvarez here. It's a slight positive park shift for him. It's a guaranteed 9th inning team at bat for the team. Not something you always get with him. So despite the success yesterday, it doesn't really matter for me, so I'm gonna take Alvarez here.
And as always, M Squared knows exactly the answer that I'm looking for. Mikey, as always, thank you very much. By the way, I love the name in the chat. Early edging myself. Interesting. But he says ruined a 7-leg parlay for me. There's no such thing as ruining a 7-leg parlay.
No, that's just
that doesn't happen because you're never gonna hit it, but maybe once in a while. So no such thing.
Coach, can I interrupt? I've got a rule that I think a lot of people should follow. When it comes to parlays and animals, we stick 4 legs max. That's it. It's got more than 4 legs, we don't touch it.
That's why he's a resident genius.
Yeah.
I tell you guys that all the time. If it doesn't have more than or less, what'd you say again? 4 legs or less?
Yes, if it's got more than 4 legs, we're not touching it. Yep.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. So glad EC isn't here right now. No. Boom. Shut up. Mikey's talking. All right. Now, it is time to get to the next person. I was getting ready to go into our board. Mr. Barner, pick your prop.
Yeah, that early edging myself, that might actually be EC. That could be a burner account. So
be.
we're not really too sure there. We'll have to verify that. I will also take Jorge Soler. Austin Gomber has given up 9 home runs and 44 in the third innings this season. For his career, Soler has a .518 slugging percentage against left-handed pitchers compared to a .443 slugging percentage against righties. Like the sniper said, you got Coors Field there. So I'll go with Soler too.
Okay. He will forever will be the person who won the very first pick the prop on the early edge. He'll always have that. And it just makes me laugh and it makes me smile every single time I say his name. It's just awesome. Zack Attack, bring us home. Which prop are you picking?
I'm actually going to go with Pete Alonso. I know Mike says it's a minus 25% chance with the weather in Chicago at Wrigley Field, but he does have a hot bat. Prior to Saturday's postponement, he had homered in 4 straight games before Sunday's doubleheader against Cleveland Guardians. And then you go back to last year, he's homered the last 2 times against the Chicago Cubs, including when Drew Smyly was on the mound, and it did come against Chicago Cubs bullpen. So I'll take Alonso plus 360.
All right, very good. A lot of different picks, a lot of different information. I tell you all the time, educate and entertain. Hashtag knowledge is power. Take the knowledge, write it down, use it today or moving into the future. All right, it is now time for our board, and we have had so many good days lately, but we refocus every single day. But as the baseball season is ramping up, there's another sport that is ramping down, but not here at CBS, because just over a month ago, we launched a brand new 24/7 soccer network that we like to call, say it with me, Galazzo!
Absolutely magisterial here!
Artiglieria del campionato brasileiro.
And I love that promo. Ziggy says you never go against M squared. I think we've established that. For 2.5 years, you do not go against M squared. The only person I've never won a showdown with. Ever. I put a block on his Venmo account. It won't even let me send him money anymore. Sort of. All right, Zack Attack. I have looked, and as I produced with Snake the show and laid everything out, I was like, you know what? I think Zach needs to go first today because you're going against the grain. You're going against the sports books. You think that the Eastern Conference Finals will continue. You're up first.
Yes, I do, Coach. I'm going to take the Boston Celtics, but I have to get a little Cody Zeller jab in. His last game in college with Victor Oladipo, 2013 Elite Eight. Gone against the Syracuse Orangemen. So I had to get that shot in there. Boston Celtics plus 1.5. You know what the Miami Heat have done this postseason in the first 2 rounds, feeding off Jimmy Butler has been tremendous, but now they're doing collectively, as I said in the lead up in the show, shooting lights out. Caleb Martin, Bam Adebayo, Gabe Vincent in the last game. You can go on and on and on, but I still think you look at this Boston Celtics team, should have won game 2. Kind of expected what happened a little bit in game 3 because the Heat came out with so much energy and Boston just laid an egg. So I think they can readjust here in game 4. You have nothing else you can do here. Your season is on the line, and I think they can still make a series of this. You win game 4, you're going back home for game 5. I know you need to win 4 games, but right there, you chop your destination in half. You can win 2 games. You can win these next 2 games here. So I'm going to take the Boston Celtics. Play your game. Get out to an early lead, and let's see what happens there. And then I'm going to take a pitcher K-prop, Jose Berrios, under 4.5 strikeouts for the Toronto Blue Jays. He has had a pattern over his last 7 starts where if he throws more than 6 strikeouts, he follows it up the next game with under 4 strikeouts. So let's go over this real quick. Had 6 strikeouts, then 3, 9 strikeouts, then 4, 7, then 3. His last start against the Tampa Bay or the New York Yankees, he threw 8 strikeouts. Today he's going to face the Tampa Bay Rays. It's the first time this season he's facing an opponent for the second time this season. Definitely a tough matchup for him against Tampa Bay Rays. Let's take the under 4.5 strikeouts for Jose Berrios.
The teeter-totter effect. Do you guys want to do that work? Did you know what the last 6 or 8 games look like? No. That's why we have Zack Attack. Now, Sniper, I got one for you. LaMelo says, Sniper, do you still like the Rockies today? Accidentally bet on today's game when placing yesterday. That happens all the time, actually. Wondering if you would cash out or let it ride plus 100.
No, I think that I'm still gonna look at that. I'm looking at my dry erase board that I referenced on Sunday. I'm probably going to play the Rockies today because I think the Marlins are in fade territory. Their record is way too good still, even after having lost 3 of their last 4 here on this road trip. I definitely think that they're going to continue to lose games. So in all likelihood, I'm going to play the Rockies. So yeah, I would stick with it. And also, I'm really sad right now that Zach Attack had to bring up IU losing to Syracuse because my first thought was, oh, that was actually the Sweet 16 because IU hasn't been past the Sweet 16 since 2002 when I was at IU. That's how old I am.
Oh, we're going back and forth, and I love it. I'll just stay out of the way. We're going a little IU and Syracuse on a May Tuesday. I love it. All right.
All I remember is Victor Oladipo falling to the ground against that zone.
Oh, I do too.
Some of those are great and nice, right? All the memories, the games, the players. Love it. Now, the Mets, they have some good players that have not been living up to expectations. M Squared, I'm coming to you because maybe today's the day that they draw a line in the sand. What say you?
Yes, Coach. I like the Mets today at Wrigley Field. Played at -105 at Win last night, up on SportsLine -110. Like it there quite a bit. I make the number 55%, meaning it should be -122. So that's kind of a range you're looking for throughout the day here if you're watching this a little later. As far as the game here, though, the reason this game is priced where it is, Drew Smyly's having a really strong year. Not something you typically expect at his age at this point in his career to be having this kind of success. He's only really throwing 3 pitches, though. He's had a ton of success with the curveball. We all know that. You can sit on it. You can try to hit it. But where he's getting hit is the sinking fastball. He's still throwing it pretty often. He's given up 5 home runs on the sinking fastball, just 91 miles per hour here. So what is interesting in this spot is the weather in this game. We're projecting -25% in terms of home run hitting. I think that impacts the Cubs lineup just a touch more than the Mets lineup overall. I think with Kodai on the mound in these conditions, I think it's really, really good for him. You look at his last start, he was incredible against the best team in baseball, the Rays, in terms of hitting right-handed pitching. Phenomenal in that matchup. Another great pitching environment overall here. I think the Mets should be closer to -122, so we've played them here on the money line.
And another great take from our resident genius, M Squared. I've already played the Mets. I got the pick an hour ago because guess what? I'm a SportsLine member. That's right. And you can be too. Use a promo code early. I'll give you 30 days for free. You can get all of these picks an hour early before the show. Beat the number. That's the whole point. M Squared as always. Thank you. Now, Sniper, I'm coming to you because I'm staring at a pick that I really like how this team is starting to trend, but they have a really big matchup right now. And last night was a phenomenal game against the LA Dodgers. What do you think happens tonight?
I think there's going to be a lot of run scoring on one side. I'm going to go over 4.5 for the Braves offense. They've got Spencer Strider on the hill, so the Braves should win this game, but I'm most comfortable with taking the over here. And I know that the Braves have worn out left-handed pitching, and they're actually getting a right-hander in Bobby Miller tonight for the Dodgers, but this is Miller's major league debut. He's only had 8 games above Double-A in his career. So far this season in Triple-A, he's topped out at 76 pitches. Only one time has he gone more than 4 innings. And the reason that matters is because the Dodgers bullpen is exhausted. In the last 9 games, they've thrown at least 4 innings, averaging 5 1/3 per game. That's the entire bullpen. They've had no days off in that span. They've had short starts from Clayton Kershaw. They've had Julio Urias go down with an injury. Dustin May's gone down with an injury. So the entire bullpen is completely overworked. They've got a starter making his major league debut against one of the best offenses in baseball. I don't know if he's necessarily going to get worn out in the first inning like Stone Garrett did last night for the Dodgers, but the Braves should get to him at some point, and then the Dodgers will have to turn the ball over to a completely exhausted bullpen. So I like the Braves team total over here. Also, shifting to the Bronx for my second play, my old buddy Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs. Going back to Anthony Rizzo, left-hander with a short porch in the Bronx. You've always got to love that. Bradish pitching for the Orioles, Kyle Bradish, not the most exciting starter. He's decent. He's not terrible, but he's not great. You've got a right-hander against Rizzo. I know so far this year he has better numbers against lefties, and he's done such a good job at learning how to hit left-handers, but that doesn't mean that the lefty-righty matchup is bad at all. Again, righty-lefty, Rizzo, short porch, that's always a good formula. But Rizzo, the thing is, he's really, really streaky. And in his last 18 games, he's hitting .343 with a 6.8, 6.16 slugging. In his last 9 games, he has 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. So we're going to go over the 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBI there on Anthony Rizzo. And I also wanted to give a shout to someone in the chat who actually used to be an assistant high school baseball coach when I played. I just recognized his name, and he said he went to IU like I did. And I said, hey, didn't you coach me at Noblesville in the mid-'90s? And he said, like, holy cow, that was when I was student teaching. What a small world we have here at Early Edge. How about that?
And what's his name again? What's his name?
Brian Tonsoni.
Brian, welcome to the show. Welcome to Sniper's Show. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Wow, pretty cool, Brian. Real quick, Steven says, Coach, you know Shakespeare popularized the expression, what say you? You are the bard. Do I or any of us look like we know anything about Shakespeare, Steven? At all? At all? I don't even know. I may have just swore. I don't even know what a bard is. Anybody?
He's the closer for the Rockies, right? Daniel Bard? I don't know.
Used to be.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Now, Mikey B, we've arrived, right? It's pretty obvious that you're getting the Maestro spot today. But as expected, I just got a text. And I'm going to read it word for word. I'm just the messenger. It says, hey, Coach, can you please let Mikey B know that my back is getting very sore carrying him on Early Edge in 5. ... EC. Floor is yours, sir.
Well, you know, he's all full of himself now. He's got the coach action figure. He's like 1,002 on his picks. He's getting out of control. But anyways, I'm going to redeem myself from that disaster Twins pick yesterday. We're just going to do NBA. 2 NBA player props. First, we'll do Bam Adebayo over 17.5 points at -123. Now, he only played 26 minutes in Game 3 because of the lopsided score. Still, he scored 13 points. Prior to that, he had scored at least 18 points in 5 straight games. He's a very efficient shooter. He's 4% from the field for his career. He's Jimmy Butler's top running mate. I think this is going to be a close game, so I think he's going to play enough to hit the over 17.5 points. And then one of the Heat's unsung hero, Caleb Martin, will do over 11.5 points for him at -129. He's a key reason why the Heat have the Celtics on the brink of elimination. He scored at least 15 points in all 3 games. He's shooting an insane 63.2% from the field. Now, Kevin Love is not playing well in the series. He's getting abused in the pick and roll. The Heat haven't been able to play him much because of that. As a result, Martin has played at least 30 minutes in all 3 games. Love is probable with that lower leg injury, but even if he is active, I don't think he's going to play a ton. I think we got at least 30 minutes from Martin again, so we'll take the over on his 11.5 points. So EC will not have to carry me, hopefully, today. I don't want him to sweat through his undershirt. I want to be able to hold my own weight here.
That is very, very funny. It's really hard to tease him when he's, like you said, 1,002. It makes my shtick not as easy. Yeah. And when people are calling him E-Sizzle in the chat, that cannot help any of us.
It's like when somebody's gone like 4 for 5 with 2 home runs and you try to talk trash to them. You're like, well, I can't really say anything right now.
It's like Jimmy Butler the other night.
Yeah.
Please don't compare EC to Jimmy Butler.
Mike, you're right. You're right.
Please
I don't even know what I was thinking.
That's disgusting.
Jimmy's over here. EC's over here. All right, grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here's the recap. Courtesy of the Snake, always on the 1s and the 2s. M2, 1 play today. But as always, give him a follow. If you're a SportsLine member, you know he's got stuff all over the place on our site. Mets money line -110. Zach Attack 2 big plays. He believes that Boston will continue the series tonight +1.5. Jose Barrios under 4.5 Ks +105. He gave you all the reasons why. Then the Sniper 2 plays. Braves team total over 4.5 -110. Doesn't matter who wins. We just need 5 runs from Atlanta. Then Anthony Rizzo over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Then Mikey B out of the Maestro spot. Bam Adebayo over 17.5 points -123. And Caleb Martin over 11.5 points -129. I honestly can't believe that this number is where it's at. He has been dynamic in these Eastern Conference Finals. Do not forget, Later today, 3 p.m. Eastern time, the early wedge with me, the counselor, EC, as we get you ready for the Charles Schwab. And there's a lot of good players playing this week, a lot. So that'll be a good show. And then also at 4 p.m. Eastern time, as always, early edge in 5 more best bets for the night in sports. I love starting my day this way. Hopefully you do too. And with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my attacker, level up. M Square, Zack Attack, Sniper, Mikey B, the Snake, always behind the scenes, doing the really hard work, to be honest with you, but we can't do without him. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on the track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's what we're all about right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.